all throughout the New Testament, all throughout the Scriptures. The idea of Christ loving his bride, Christ in the church, has been this sort of metaphor, this image of how the Bible talks about how Jesus loves his people, this covenantal, unbreaking, always and forever love. And I find that this to be true, that the idea, the truth that Jesus loves his people is one of the hardest truths for people to really grasp and truly believe and understand. It's, again, so sentimental. It's something that's always talked about. Eugene Peterson, throughout his writings, would talk about the most difficult thing that he encountered throughout his pastoral ministry was convincing people or helping people see that Christ really loves them unconditionally. Like, what would truly happen in your life if you really believed that Christ loves you unconditionally? That Christ loves his church unconditionally? How freeing would that be? Later on in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul writes that it's no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. In the life I live, I no longer live for myself, but I live because Christ died and gave himself for me. Paul was someone who deeply understood this fact. Paul understood the reality that Christ died for him, used his authority to die for him, and in turn has demonstrated his love for someone like Paul. And that can be true for you and for me today. That we can be the kinds of people that really receive, really recognize Jesus' love for his church and for you and for me individually.